Greetings, one and all, and welcome to episode number 60 of Thoughts and Hunches, making money in bunches and sucker punches. Your boy Stoney is back for the 60th time. 60, that's a landmark. That's a big number. Thank you for all the support through 60 episodes. I'd like to welcome my fellow lowlifes, hoodlums, cheats, hustlers, scumbags, fienders, and degenerates. The reason you keep coming back is because I keep giving you winners. That's right. And by viewer suggestion, I'd also like to welcome the criminals, the perverts, the horn dogs, the virgins, the jagoffs, the jihadists, the altar boys, and the Catholics. Yes, those Catholic altar boys. Call your priest. You guys have issues. Anyway, last week, not our best. 2 straight weeks now, not so good. Now, here's the problem. The numbers get tighter. We know this. In the NFL, the hardest weeks to bet are the end of the season and the playoffs because the numbers are so damn accurate. And let's face it, the Super Bowl was spot on accurate too. A missed extra point gave people winners and gave a lot of other people nightmares. But the numbers get tighter. That's the bottom line. 2 weeks ago, 13 and 12. That's not good. I mean, it's certainly not bad, but I said last week that if that's a losing week, I'll take it. And then last week, we all saw what happened last Saturday. Okay? It was... you can't even say arguably, it was the craziest day in the history of college basketball. The top 6 teams lost. 7 of the top 10 teams lost, because number 9 Texas Tech also lost. The bottom line is, they all lost on the road. None of them lost at home. Okay? So not really a whole heck of a lot changed in the top 10. Some did, but for the most part, it pretty much stayed the same. Forgive the background noise here, but I'm watching the OVC here. The semis, Belmont and Morehead State. Looks like it's going to be Belmont and Murray State once again for the right to go on to the tournament. Anyway, last week was just insane, right? We got off to a rip-roaring start, red hot in the morning, 11-3-1. Everything was looking great. Then a 9-game losing streak. It was like, what the heck happened? All right. Now, I fell victim to some of those some of those upsets within the top 10. Baylor beating Kansas cost me. St. Mary's beating Gonzaga cost me. I had a push. I wound up the day 13-12-1 last week. Okay. 12-12-1. 12-12-1 was the total number. The push was a winner. It was a winner pretty much all day. I had Arkansas against Kentucky, and it's one of the bad beats of the year. Arkansas is winning the game with a minute left. Kentucky's fouling, and they continue to foul to extend the game, which is exactly what they're supposed to do. No harm in that. But as Arkansas keeps going to the line, they keep firing brick after brick after year. They're making 1 out of 2. 1 out of 2. 1 out of 2. Well, Arkansas is a 2-point favorite. Now, I heard it went off at 2.5. Thank God I got him at 2. But I had him at 2. It's a 5-point game. It's a 4-point game when Kentucky fouls Arkansas again with 5 seconds left. Arkansas goes to the line, misses the first, makes the second one to make it a 5-point game, and allows Kentucky to take the ball out. They inbound the ball. Arkansas moves out of the way, and Ty Washington just moves right into place. Fires an off-balance 3 at the buzzer, off the glass, net. Game lands on 2, and I get a push. when I was already spending that money. I mean, that was a winner. But these things happen, right? Then we actually went on a string of 9 straight losses, which is just insane. After we started 11-3-1 and everything was looking great, I thought I was going to break the bank last week. Then the afternoon hit and the evening was just misery. But we did hit the degenerate special to get 12-12-1. So we lost juice. We lost 12 games worth of juice last week. That ain't too bad. We'll take it. What are you going to do? Anyway, that puts us now for the season 159 wins, 105 losses, right? That drops us down into 59% in college basketball. For the first time first time dating back to a long time ago, we're under 60%. And this is it. This is the last week of college basketball regular season. Next week, it will be college basketball conference tournaments. And then the following week will be the actual NCAA tournament, because we're now 9 days away from Selection Sunday. So this is it. I mean, conference tournaments are going on right now. I'm watching one, the Ohio Valley, and the reason I'm watching it is because Belmont University is about 10 minutes from my doorstep. And pulling for Belmont to knock off Morehead State here so they can get into the finals and try to knock off a ranked Murray State team who's blasted Belmont twice already this year. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Next week is conference tournament week. I thought about doing 2 shows next week. One early in the week to get all those first round games, and then one on Friday night for Saturday again. But I think what I'm going to do, and this is still kind of up in the air, but I think I'm going to do Thursday night. I'm going to do a video Thursday night for games played on Friday, because there'll be lots of games on Friday, lots of semifinals, lots of quarterfinals for games to be played on Friday. Because then Saturday, you're getting semifinals and a lot of finals. And then on Sunday, that's the day of the selection show. And there's only a handful of games on Sunday. So, plan on Thursday. But in case you're new to this and you don't know, click on the little subscribe button down here in the bottom right-hand corner. This way you'll be notified as soon as a new video goes up. So that's it. For the season now, overall, 506 wins, 329 losses, and 3 pushes. Right? Still in 61 percentile range. Looking good on the season. Looking to close out strong. We only got a couple weeks left, so it's time to start taking advantage. Again, next week, probably Thursday night. Maybe Friday night, but probably Thursday night. And then the following week will be tournament action, and I'll give you an updated schedule because the NCAA tournament starts the following Thursday. So I will have a video on Wednesday and then another one on Friday for games to be played. Basically, we're going to hit every single game in the NCAA tournament with the exception of the play-in games, the first 4. Those are the games that we'll miss. 2 games on, I think it's Monday, and 2 games on Tuesday, or 2 on Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday. But either way, we're going to miss those games. That's it. But other than that, we're going to have every other game in the tournament, right? 64 teams. That's what we're going to do. So anyway, that's it. That's what I got for you. Okay, we ready? Let's do this. The last Saturday of the regular season. Okay, senior day for all these home teams. I didn't bet any tournament games for tomorrow. There are a lot that are still kind of up in the air. We don't know who's playing who as of yet, but we're getting there. Anyway, we're just going to do the regular season, the season finale, the regular season finale. Starting at noon tomorrow, Big East Conference, Hinkle Fieldhouse, the legendary Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. You've got 11th ranked Villanova, 22-7. They come in to Indy to take on Butler, and Nova's an 8.5-point favorite. Butler's 13-17. They've struggled this year. They've lost 4 in a row. Villanova, on the other hand, is the number 2 seed in the conference tournament. They could squeeze out a tie with Providence if they lose, or if Providence loses, but you can't even think like that. They've got the number 2 seed in the conference tournament. Butler is not playing well, but Villanova right now, that's a pretty big number to be laying on the road on senior day. I'm going to take Butler here. Nova wins, but Butler covers. Give me the Dogs plus 8.5. Noon Eastern time, ACC action, the KFC Yum Center, about 3 hours north of here up in Louisville. 12-17 Louisville welcomes 17-12 Virginia. Virginia's 2.5-point chalk. Louisville is a mess. New coach, they've lost 10 out of 11. They're not playing well. UVA, on the other hand, they lost to Florida State last week when they were up 9 with 2:30 left, and that was a bad loss. That was a really bad loss to a Florida State team that has really struggled. And Virginia needs not only to win this game, but probably needs to win a couple games in the ACC tournament. You know, maybe at least make it to the semifinals if they want to even have a thought of getting into the tournament. But it's 17-12 in a weak ACC this year. Virginia is in trouble. But I'm going to take Virginia here. 2.5. They need this one. I'm going to lay the 2.5 on the road and take the Cavs. Noon Eastern time SEC action at the Maravich Center. That's right, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The key word being lose there. 20-10 LSU is 5-point favorites over 25th ranked 19-11 Alabama. Alabama lost on Wednesday to Texas A&M, but they have won 3 out of 5, and they won 5 out of 6 before that. The LSU, they lost on Wednesday to Arkansas, right? When they had Arkansas, they had them beat, but they were outscored 23-11 in the last 6.5 minutes of the game. They've lost 3 out of 5. They covered last week, right? The last 6 weeks in a row I've given you against LSU as my lock of the week. And last week was the first week that they burned me, right? They wound up winning by 20. But am I going to take them this week? Well, I think you know the answer to that one. No. I like Bama. I'm going to take the 5. LSU could very easily win this game, but not by 5. Not going to happen. Not here. Take Bama. You want to take a flyer on the money line? That certainly wouldn't suck. Noon Eastern time SEC action. Thompson Bowling Arena, about 3 hours to the east of here. This is a good matchup right here. You got 13th ranked 22-7 Tennessee playing great ball. They're 6.5-point favorites over 14th ranked and 24-6 Arkansas, who comes in. Now Arkansas is the trendy team. They're the hot team. They're the team that everybody likes right now. Even though they didn't cover against LSU, they did get the win on Wednesday night. They've won 14 out of 15. Eric Musselman has that team just playing on another level. JD Note is the real deal, and these two teams are playing for second place in the SEC tournament. Theoretically, they could get a share of the SEC championship if Auburn were to lose, but that's not going to happen. Auburn's 20-point chalk. So this is for the number 2 seed. It's a big number, 6.5, but I like Tennessee. I really like the way they're playing. A loss to Arkansas here really wouldn't hurt. A loss to Tennessee will drop them down a little bit. So, I mean, this game is really not as important as the SEC tournament will be. They're kind of playing for seeding. I can see Eric Musselman resting his guys and getting ready for the SEC tournament. So that's why I'm taking Tennessee. It's a strange feeling. Call it what it is. It's a big number, 6.5, but I'm going to take the Vols and lay the 6.5. 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, Atlantic 10 action at the site of the First Four, the University of Dayton Arena up in Dayton. The Dayton Flyers are 21-9, and they're 3.5-point favorites over 25-4 Davidson. Dayton is hot. They've won 6 out of 7. They've won 8 out of 10. They're pretty much locked into the number 3 seed in the A10 tournament. Davidson, on the other hand, is the number 1 seed in the A10. They've won 9 out of 10. They're playing really well, and Davidson is the team to beat. And I don't see them slowing down here against Dayton. Yeah, theoretically, they've got nothing to lose except seeding in the big tournament. But Davidson wants to keep rolling, and I don't see any reason why they're going to stop. So I'm going to take the 3.5 and take Davidson. 1 p.m. Eastern Time ACC action at the Carrier Dome up in Syracuse. Some people are saying this could be it for Syracuse, because Syracuse is, Syracuse has been toast all year. I mean, let's face it. They've lost 3 in a row. They've lost 5 out of 7. They're only 15-15. And somehow, some way, they're still 1.5 point favorites over Miami here. Miami is 21-9. They're a firm, solid bubble team in the AC from the ACC. But here's the key for the Canes: they're 9-2 on the road. Wouldn't everyone else like to get a piece of that? But in what could be Jim Valvano, I'm losing my mind here. In what could be Jim Boeheim's last game in Syracuse, probably won't be, but because I don't think that guy's ever going to retire. I mean, he should have retired 20 years ago, but he's still going. I think that's why the number is down like that. But I like the Canes. I'm actually all over the Canes in this one, and I'm making it my lock of the week. Canes plus 1.5 on the road. 2 p.m. Eastern Time SEC action. Gainesville, Florida. Florida's always tough at home. They're 19-11. They've won 3 out of 5. They're playing pretty well. They're going to have to win this one and keep winning into the tournament if they want to go anywhere, or if they want to make the tournament. The problem is they're 4.5 point dogs because in comes 24-6 7th-ranked Kentucky. Kentucky they've won 3 out of 5, and they really haven't played that well lately. But I mean, Oscar Tshiebwe is the front runner right now for National Player of the Year. The guy's just been incredible, and Florida doesn't have an answer for him. So I'm going to take the Cats. I like Kentucky. Lay the 4.5 on the road. Let me see here. Hold on. I think I made an error there. Yep. No, I didn't. I'm good. I'm good. All right. Yeah. Yeah, that's that. That's, sorry. I was thinking ahead to another game in which I didn't have the line for. But anyway, yeah. Kentucky minus 4.5. There's your winner. 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Big Ten action. Mackey Arena, West Lafayette. This is the annual Purdue versus Indiana end of season matchup. Purdue's 24-6 and ranked 8th. They come in as 10.5 point favorites over Indiana, who's 18-11. Indiana's got a lot of very good wins, but just as many bad losses on their resume. Purdue has lost their last 2 games. They lost to Michigan State last Saturday, and then lost the Big Ten championship to Wisconsin on Wednesday. Indiana's also hasn't really been playing well. They've lost 3 out of 5, but they play well at home. Now this is a road game, yes, but 10.5 is a big number. Purdue wins, but I like Indiana. I'm going to take the 10.5. 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Big 12 action. Morgantown, West Virginia. Huggy Bear, Bob Huggins, and the Mountaineers are 14-16, and somehow, even though they've lost 7 straight and have not played well at all, are 2.5 point chalk to 19-10 TCU, who comes in winners of 3 out of 5. Couple of big upsets. They knocked off Kansas the other day. They're playing really well. The problem for TCU, they've never won in Morgantown. They've never won at West Virginia. Well, tomorrow's the day they do it. I like TCU. I'm going to take the 2.5. 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Big East action in Omaha. Yeah, nothing says the Big East like Omaha. Creighton, 20-9 and 1.5 point favorites over 19-9 Seton Hall. This is a good matchup. These are two teams that are both going to be dancing, and these are two teams that are playing really good basketball right now. Creighton has won 4 out of 5. Seton Hall's won 4 out of 5. Jared Roden, that guard from Seton Hall, has really been impressive this year. And I like Seton Hall in this one for some strange reason, plus 1.5. Again, this game is more about seeding than anything else, but I like the Pirates, and I'm going to roll with the Pirates. 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, ACC action at the Joyce Center in South Bend. We've got Notre Dame, 21-9. They're 11.5 point favorites over 11-19 Pitt. Pitt has lost 3 in a row, 6 out of 8. They're a mess. Notre Dame has won 3 out of 5. Their losses were to Florida State and Wake, not exactly powerhouses, and especially in a down year in the ACC. The ACC this year is just, you look around that ACC, and I mean, outside of Duke, there really isn't anybody that scares you come tournament time. But Notre Dame has been rolling along really quietly. Yeah, they lost their shot at an ACC championship, but at 21-9, Notre Dame is still there. They're still in the thick of it, and I'm going to take Notre Dame. I'm going to lay the big number. 11.5 is huge, but I don't give a shit. I'm going to lay it on at home on Senior Day for Mike Bray. 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Pac-12 action. Desert Financial in Tempe. Arizona State is 13-16, and they're 5.5 point favorites over 15-14 Stanford. This is the story of just two teams going in complete opposite directions. A month ago, I probably said on here that Stanford was a tournament team. They're clearly not now. They've lost 4 straight, and they're just searching, right? A month ago, I told you Arizona State was a laughingstock and a complete joke, and Bobby Hurley had lost complete control over his staff and his players and everything. But since then, they've gotten hot, and ASU's won 4 out of 5. I like them here. I like them to keep rolling, and they're going to roll over Stanford. Give me the Sun Devils. Lay the 5.5. 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Big 12 action in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Oklahoma State is 14-15, and they're 2.5 point dogs to 12th ranked 23-7 Texas Tech. Okie State's lost 3 out of 5. Oklahoma State's won 4 out of 5. That's really all you need to know. Texas Tech and the fact that Texas Tech is just a better team. Oklahoma State really hasn't found their footing at all this year, so the Red Raiders are the play, and it seems like they haven't skipped a beat since Chris Beard left. 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Big 12 action. Fog Allen Fieldhouse, Kansas versus Texas. This one had the makings of a good matchup until Texas is 21-9 and ranked 21st, and I still don't know how. They've won 3 out of 5. Kansas, on the other hand, has also won 3 out of 5, and they lost twice. They lost to Baylor last Saturday, and then they lost to TCU the other night, but then they bounced back by beating TCU. Kansas, yes, they're ranked 6th, and they were knocked out of a number 1 seed, especially with the loss to TCU. They're now a 2, possibly a 3, but it doesn't matter. They're still extremely dangerous, and it all starts with O.J. Agbaji. He's leads the Big 12 in scoring at right around 21 points a game. The guy's been an absolute monster, and at home at the Fog, -6.5. I'm Rock Chalk Jayhawk all day long here. 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Pac-12 action. Frio Court up in Pullman. You got 18-12 Oregon who comes in, and they're 1.5 point dogs to 17-13 Washington State. A couple weeks ago, I told you Oregon was a team on the bubble and was starting to play better. They lost a couple games and they bounced back by beating UCLA. They lost a tough one to USC on the weekend, but now all of a sudden you look at their resume and they've lost 4 out of 5 down the stretch. They're not playing well. They're probably off the bubble. They're not the first 4 in. They're not the next 4 in. Or they're not the first 4 out. They're not the next 4 out. They're probably the third 4 out. But yeah, they're going to probably have to win the Pac-12 conference tournament if they want to get in. Washington State, on the other hand, is very quietly put together a decent season. They're 17-13. They've won 3 out of 4, and I'm going to take the Cougs here at home in Pullman, laying the 1.5. 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Big East action in Stores. You got 18th ranked Connecticut. They come in. They're 23-8. They're 10.5 point favorites over 15-14 DePaul. UConn lost to Creighton on Wednesday, but had won 5 straight before. UConn is rolling. They're playing really good ball. They're clearly a tournament team. DePaul is clearly not at 15-14. But DePaul has won 3 in a row. They've covered 8 out of 10. Somehow, some way. They seem to cover. UConn wins. DePaul covers. Give me all 10.5 of those. 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Big 12 action. Waco, Texas. Baylor versus Iowa State. Baylor, like I said, has pretty much clinched the Big 12. They're 25-5 and ranked 3rd right now. They've won 4 straight. They've won 8 out of 9. They're playing great ball, and they're doing without Chachua, who's out for the season. But that team, I tell you, man, they're the defending national champs, and they're playing like the defending national champs right now. They're 12.5 point favorites. Iowa State lost to Oklahoma State on Wednesday the other night, but they had won 5 in a row before that. I like Iowa State here. Baylor wins. Don't get me wrong. Baylor wins this one relatively easy, but that 12.5 is a big number, especially for the back door. So give me the Cyclones. 6 p.m. Eastern Time, ACC action, the game of the day. If you hate North Carolina and Duke, don't even watch ESPN tomorrow, because they are going to be all over Coach K. It's Mike Krzyzewski's last game at Cameron Indoor. Duke is 26-4. They're ranked 4th. They're 11.5 point favorites over a team that I thought was on the bubble at Carolina, who's 22-8 now and have won 4 in a row, and has probably played their way into the tournament just the last week or so in Hubert Davis's first year. Here's an interesting stat. The last 101 games between these two, Duke has won 51, Carolina has won 50. It's pretty impressive. Now that is a rivalry, because it's always back and forth. That and Giants-Dodgers are the 2 best rivalries in sports. The Yankees-Red Sox is not a rivalry because the Yankees dominated for so many years. You got to have each team winning in order for it to be a true rivalry. And this is a true rivalry, especially in college basketball. Duke's won 6 straight. They're 11.5 point favorites. This is Coach K's going away party. They're not going to lay down for Carolina here. I like Duke. Lay the 11.5. It seems big. It seems lofty, but I don't give a shit. I'm all over them. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Fort Collins, Colorado. Mountain West Conference action. Boise State, Colorado State. Colorado State's 23-4. They're 3.5 point favorites over 24-6 Boise State. Colorado State has the number 2 seed in the Mountain West. They've won 7 out of 8. They're 23-4 with a gaudy record. Everybody had them winning the Mountain West, but Boise State's been a little bit better. Boise State won the Mountain West regular season tournament, regular season. They're going to go into the tournament, the number 1 seed. They've won 5 in a row and 7 out of 8. So I'm going to take them here, plus the 3.5. This game could be decided by a basket, or Boise State could steal one. But either way, give me the 3.5. 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Pac-12 action, UCLA versus USC. Yeah, I mean, you know where I'm going with this one. Mick Cronin has never beaten USC. Tomorrow's the day he does it, finally. There are 2 teams he's never beaten. He's never beaten Oregon. He's never beaten USC, and that's hard to believe, because Mick Cronin, in only 3 years, has done an amazing job at UCLA. But this is the time when the pretenders go to bed. And I'm not saying USC's a pretender. They're a very good team and a very dangerous team, and they could win this game. But no, sorry. Give me UCLA. Give me the Bruins all day long. 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Mountain West action at Lawler Event Center. Yes, the site of opening night of the 2004 Prince Musicology Tour. I was in attendance, and at Lawler Event Center, this is a true story. I'm standing at a urinal before the concert starts. We walked in, we got our tickets. We were 3rd row. We got our tickets. I got my date. She went to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom. I'm standing at the urinal. I look to my left, and who's standing next to me? Think about it. Think about it. Doesn't matter. You'll never guess. Sir Paul McCartney, standing right next to me at the urinal. He was actually taller than I thought. No, I did not look down. I know some of you horn dogs and fienders and degenerates would have. I went over, I washed my hands, and I waited for him. And he came over and he started washing his hands. It was great. I talked to him for about 30 seconds. I said, Paul, Sir Paul, Mr. McCartney, it's nice to meet you. I said, you don't strike me as a Prince fan. You know what he said? Well, who isn't? That's right. If you aren't or weren't a Prince fan, that's a you problem. Anyway, Lawler Event Center, Nevada, 12-16 versus 20-7 San Diego State. I'm all over San Diego State here. San Diego State is the play. They're third in the Mountain West. They've won 4 out of 5. Nevada has lost 3 in a row. They're eighth in the Mountain West, and they've been struggling. San Diego State is clearly the play here. And finally, at 11 p.m. tomorrow night, the Degenerate Special, which we hit last week to get us to 12-12. Thank God, Hawaii. The Pit in Albuquerque, Mountain West action. UNLV 18-12. They're 3.5-point favorites over 12-18 New Mexico. New Mexico's always tough at the Pit, but they've lost 3 out of 6. They're not playing well. The Running Rebels seem to have gotten a little bit of swag back. They've won 4 out of 5. They could make a deep run in the Mountain West tournament. They can't win it, but they can make a run and make things interesting. But I like the Running Rebels here. I'm going to lay the 3.5 on the road. That's your Degenerate Special, and that's 21 plays for tomorrow, the last day of the regular season. 21 plays, 12-9, 13-8, 14-7. Now we're talking. That's what we're shooting for, to get us back into the 60 percentile firmly. Again, finally, be on the lookout next Thursday night. Probably the picks will be out. I'll have them ready for you for conference tournament craziness and madness that is going to start this early next week. In the middle of next week, it's just going to get insane. Sorry, needed that. So as I sign off, I just want to remind you that if you want to win big, you got to bet big. Scared money don't make money. To me, the action is the juice. There's money on the streets that can't be ignored. And finally, good luck to you.